Hello, good morning or good evening for me. Good morning for you, Natalia. So today we have with us Natalia Varon Perea. She is the Vice President for Commercial at SSA Marine. Natalia, thank you so much for taking time out today to be one of my remarkable women that inspired me and that inspire other female leaders around the globe. But before we talk about you and your career, who is Natalia beyond your title?
Thank you very much, Charlotte. And thank you for this very nice invitation. I'm excited about it. I am a very optimistic and positive person, very passionate and very curious Colombian lady. I'm a loving daughter, a loving sister, and a loving wife. And I love traveling, exploring the world, and yeah, getting to try new adventures and experiences.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And for people who don't know, Natalia and I, we met each other 20 years ago in a very interesting management traineeship. And your journey has been really great, inspiring, probably also a bumpy road, but we don't always see that on the outside, right? And we kept in touch, and I'm so excited to have this chat with you and to have this talk with you, because what is more important than sharing our stories and sharing some tips and tricks, some insights that were maybe not so easy for us to go through, but that can help other leaders and definitely female juniors to grow in their career and to understand what it can be and what are the pain points on the road, right? One question I would have for you. If you would think about your journey and you had a very beautiful career already, what has been harder than people realize? Because on the outside, we might have the rosy picture, but on the inside, it's not always the case, right?
So many things. It has been such a journey, Charlotte, and I believe that two major points of my growth have been about self-confidence and building it from the inside and letting go the need for external validation.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah.
was somehow something that I created in my mind when I started working, and just realizing that you need to make sure that you believe in yourself and believe in your instincts, and also, learn also being aware and self um, conscious that you need to learn about new things, or you would be better if you knew this, or how to manage certain things in different ways. So that's very important, that self-awareness, but making sure that you have that confidence in you and that you grow. It has taken a lot of tough moments, definitely, that people don't see from the outside.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And it's such an important one. And I can really relate when you say that external validation, right? We have that. And also, I know your career has been quite similar to mine in a male industry, right? The marine, the logistics industry is still shipping is still a very male industry. It's shifting a little bit, but definitely 20 years ago it wasn't that female driven, and that might also not have helped as a female junior how to look up to another female example that maybe wasn't there. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. If I would ask you something else, like what is a belief about leadership that you had to unlearn to become the leader that you are today?
Many unlearnings as well. It is, and this is why I'm so appreciative of this kind of opportunities. Representation matters. Having the opportunity to see somebody that you can relate with, it makes us make us think that we can achieve different things, or that we might have a path to achieve our dreams. So when I was starting my professional career, I had in mind that I really had to behave in certain way, and mostly male related behaviors and languages and how they speak and how they do things, because there was very limited to none women in leadership roles at that time when I started, or when you and I both started. And the fact that I at some point realized in my journey, well, I'm never going to be a man. I'm never going to fully behave like men or talk like them. And on the contrary, I just feel like I have a disconnect with my authenticity and of my Colombianness, my Latinhood, and my womanhood as well. So I felt like I definitely unlearned how the path would look like, but most importantly, what success means to me. What is success to me? And that's kind of the major thing. And learn that I needed to behave certain way to be successful, and then successful for whom? And so I would say that's one of the biggest journey that I've gone through.
That's such an interesting one, because that's so true. Like, and I would really encourage every female listening to this, and even men, write down for yourself, what does success mean to you? Because we get all this advice from left, right, and center when we start, and this is successful, and successful means a title, and successful means higher up, and successful means money, right? And that's very often a business male driven kind of way of success, because that's how it always was in the past. But that's not today what success means for everybody, right? And when was that for you, a moment where you felt like that was a shift? That was really something. Is there a specific moment that you can relate to it, or it was more a growth?
I think it goes both ways, right? A little bit incremental with the experiences you have, the exposure to people that have gone certain ways. So that's very important, to build a network that you get inspired and that you can see yourself into in the future. That has been part of the journey as well. But I had, as part of my life, I took a break, and I had almost a year and a half sabbatical, and I decided to focus really inwards on me, on my brain processes, on my values, on what I wanted to be as a person, how do I want to behave with people when I'm with people in certain situations. So I would say that was almost like a break point for me, when I said, this is what means to me. When you take a break and then suddenly you're not linked to a company or being an employee of, or connected to a specific role, then you start wondering about your identity. And for me, if that was the case, what is my identity if I'm not part of this major organization? So that's when I started exploring who is Natalia, and who I want to become, and what means success for me in life.
Wow. That's a very powerful message. And I see you actually smiling while you say it. So I wish everybody to discover that on their journey, right? Because that's really, that's inspiring to listen to. I have a question. So you probably have experienced that as well, and we can picture in reality that it's like physically sitting at the table, but I think it goes in many kind of ways. Like, have you ever felt that you were maybe sitting at the table but you didn't feel part of the table? And when I'm in the table, the boardroom, the big offices, and you have a seat there. Maybe you had a seat, but you didn't feel that you belonged there, or somebody made it very clear that you're actually passed by. Like, can you share one of these experiences that you have?
Yes, it's very common, and to date, I
Yeah.
I feel like I still go through these situations, and can be as in an event when the big leaders then are all sitting at a table, and I see myself thinking, should I be sitting there? And
Wow.
and sometimes somebody escorted me like, this is your seat. So I connected back to the self-confidence a lot. It's
Yeah.
making sure that you know your worth, and that how I think you need to be very intentional on how you want to be portrayed, what kind of image or platform, or how you want to be portrayed in a certain situation. Along my career, I felt like there's different moments where either I was underestimated or people felt like then everybody was the expert, so maybe we don't really need her experience or her input on this, and I would feel it. But that has taught me a lot of things, Charlotte. It has taught me to read very fast the room.
Yeah.
So I've become extremely good at reading the room and, okay, well, is this a room that they're going to give me the space and the respect up front, or is that something that I need to start building up at this 10 minutes or 1 hour meeting? So I've become very fast at reading that room and adjusting the behavior, because it's not about, hey guys, you need to give my space, and kind of raise their hands sometimes. But it is about making sure you know how to navigate the room so that you start building that respect from your expertise. Not from like, oh, it looks like it's a very nice person, or oh, she's funny, or no, from the respect of the experience and my journey. So I've gotten very good at navigating, okay, what would be the best way? And you see how that starts getting the attention through the respect that you start building in the team. But it requires a lot of energy.
Yeah. As a woman, and I like that you say, like, I'm so good in reading the room. It's actually a sixth sense that we often have, but we maybe don't realize it that we have that. And that's an amazing strength to have, right? And I like also that you say that it's that self-criticism, right? There is your share, but somebody else needs to tell you that's your share, because, and you own that share for a good reason, because of business reasons, because of your expertise in the field, everything you have built up, and probably you're more knowledgeable and more skilled, or even more expertise than the people next to you, but you don't think like that. It's such a female, we often underestimate ourselves, that self-criticism that we have. And if I could dream about one thing that female can really work on and feel themselves more confident, is that don't criticize yourself. Absolutely don't do that. But it's good to hear that you also that because often you feel like, am I the only one? Seriously? And actually, it's not. There's so many female leaders in amazing positions with all the know-how. They have such a ton of expertise, and still they might have that that self-doubt, or oof. Yeah, do I need to prove myself? Yes, I don't need to prove myself once. I need to prove myself twice or three times as hard as the male next to me, which is so unfair, right? And like you say, it costs you energy. Yeah.
Yes. I have learned that it helps a lot making sure to, when you're going to a scenario or an event or a big meeting, kind of take that moment to think, what is my contribution? Why am I am at the table, and what is my contribution? And kind of take a deep breath and almost focus on what's going to happen and the behavior and the image I want to portray. I just said it. Instead of just the overthinking of, so many things like, well, did I prepare enough? Or how did I ended up being at this table? And yes, enjoy and celebrate the moments, absolutely. But from that celebration standpoint of view, more than the double guessing or that, wow, how I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. So that 30 seconds of intentional self-worth and thinking, I am here because I deserve to, and my contribution is this. It has helped to kind of come in with different ways, but it's an ongoing journey for sure.
That's a very interesting tip, right? That everybody can learn from that pep talk to yourself, that you are worth it, and you know why you're here, and you know why you sit on that chair. Yeah, beautiful. If you would have had a female let's say, mentor or somebody you looked up to, but that person was also very good to you. What kind of advice would you have liked to have, let's say, 15 years ago?
I think is about the success we have talked. What does success means to you?
Yeah.
And it just comes to a very deep internal side of you. For me, it has been learning about what I want out of my life. So success is not only about my career and my professional development, it's also who am I at home, and for the people next to me, what are my relationships that I'm having with my health. And so I wish that somebody would give me that opportunity to build my success, but in life, uh, more than this is the career path. It's we so often forget that it's one life. Every minute we spend at work is a minute of our lives,
Yeah.
with trade-offs. But it's not work and life. It's part of our life.
Yeah.
And the fact that we sometimes try to split it like I'm two different people, that makes no sense, but we do that very often. So I would would have liked that somebody would help me realize that a little bit early on, and that it's a big package of my health. For me, it means my health, my relationships, my family, and how I get curious and how I have the platform to develop certain abilities that I feel very curious about.
That's such a beautiful thing to say. So as a last question, I would have, like, if you would be now speaking in front of a lot of female leaders that are actually, they have grown, they are like, let's say, mid-level leadership, and they're going to make the next step, but they don't feel yet part of the club. Because let's be honest, there is a lot of male clubs, and men help each other to get up the ladder and to climb up the ladder and to make sure the other ones get the job they need to. But female are not that strong in that, right? And I feel like we should have more female clubs. Although I'm all about, we need to be diverse and we need to be inclusive for everybody. This is not a female on standalone against the man. Absolutely not, because we both worked in a very male dominant industry, and actually male have also helped us to lift us up, right? But still today, there is not enough, I don't know, assistance or enough visibility still to lift women up to the level they want to be. And so sometimes I like, we should have that women's club where women lift each other up, right? What would be an advice to a lady that sits there and is like, I'm not yet part of that club. What should she do?
I think it's a combination of things, and I am also defining what means being part of a club. What
Yeah.
you said, I think, diversity, is so important, and when we are authentic, we are also different in the ways we behave, in our thinking process, and that is a challenge, but that also makes us stronger. So I would really say, take a very good look internally. Really know what is it that you want to get out from a group of people or an event, or so what you want to get out of it, in the sense of, I want to connect with this person, or I really want to be able to understand this concept, very specific. And also the output. What is it that you want to portray? Very intentional, that is connected with your bigger purpose. And purpose is a big word, and it has taken me a while to understand what is it for me. But if anyone knows it, then the better they know the purpose in life, then the easier that is going to become. So be very intentional on the output and how you want to portray yourself for others, because that's going to be able to open opportunities. You might open a door for future opportunities that you don't even realize now. So that's very important for me. I've talked enough about defining success, so I think that is definitely key. And know yourself. Spend some time knowing yourself. There was one thing that you sent me in the preparation questions, like what would you think that is important as a leader nowadays? And one of the things I value the most is energy. How the leaders of today, we value energy of people, and it's a full cycle. How do we recharge? How we do disconnect so we can come back energized and do our better jobs much better. So I think that part of understanding who we are, how do we recharge, how we do, kind of get more energy, however it is for one person or the other, it's very important so that we can be sustainably consistent, improving across time.
Yeah. That's beautiful to say. And actually, it links to that when you say, like, you read the room, you can also read the energy in the room, right? And it's actually science proven, right? There is that energy around. And when people communicate, even without speaking, there is a kind of a communication happening, and there is a kind of an energy transfer to each other. And it's like, yeah, if you can make sure that your energy levels are up, that already gives you an advantage to the one who's next to you, who is had a bad night or has not good energy. Or yeah, that's a powerful tip for the listeners to take away. Thank you so much,
100%.
Natalia.
No, and I'm. It's my pleasure to be here. And sometimes you need to learn that the way you recharge is maybe doing something different that you plan to, or that is expected from you, and that is also okay. So I think that becomes very important. But thank you very much for this opportunity, Charlotte. This is fantastic, and I love the fact that you're opening the doors to so many women for us to share our stories.
Thank you for being so honest, and that vulnerable talk that really helps others as well. So a few very interesting topics that you shared, and I'm sure if people are listening that they have great key takeaways for themselves, for their career. Thank you so much, Natalia, for your time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.